welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for deciding to click on today's video. It is going to be a review on the brand new brushes from Jessica Simson. I have here one of the collections that she has released. So basically in this video, I'm just going to be opening the brushes, seeing what they're about, doing like first impression style review. So that is what I'm going to be doing. And if you guys are ready to go ahead and get started reviewing these brushes, let's go ahead and get started. Basically, to start this out, I do want to say that Jessica Simpson's team did send this to me, so I did receive this from them to try out, and I was interested to see what they were all about, what the brushes were all about, and when I started doing a little bit more research into like her company, like her new brand and everything like that, I did come across her website. And the brushes that they did send me, it's a 5-piece collection, so it did come in like this little, I don't know, like a little mesh type bag, and it does say Beauty Fiend is the name of her line, Beauty Fiend by Jessica Simpson. This is a brush set that they did send me, so it is in like this little plastic wrapping, and it is a 5-piece brush set. So when I did go on the website, I kind of wanted to see like what other items they had came out with or what the price was on them so I could give you guys that information. So I didn't realize that they released like so many different brushes. So these did release this last weekend. I know she announced this at BeautyCon, and I believe she was at BeautyCon. I don't know if they had like a booth there or what, but I know she was there. I know that they did launch these, I believe, the following day after BeautyCon when she announced them. So going on the website, this one retails, like I said, for $60 for the 5 brushes. Going on the website, she actually released 16 different brush sets. So there are 16 different brush sets varying in pricing. The highest one I found was $80, and then there is a like unicorn type magical amethyst collection. That's a 5-piece collection. That one that retails for $25. My initial reaction, if I'm being honest with you guys, is kind of like looking at these brushes. They are synthetic, by the way, and they are cruelty-free and vegan brushes, just so you guys know. But looking at these brushes, I'm kind of curious to why the price tag is so expensive. They kind of remind me of just like, I don't want to be mean, but like your typical brushes that you can buy on like, you know, Amazon, or basically any retailer. So I do want to open these and obviously test the quality, and I'm going to go ahead and review them, like I said, the best that I can. It's going to be, like I said, a first impression style, but I just kind of wanted to really quickly just put my thoughts out there so we could like establish that first. Let me know if you guys have purchased any of these brushes or if you love Jessica Simpson. I used to watch her all the time on Newlyweds. I used to listen to her music, so pretty cool to get a brush set from her company. Okay, so here are the handles of the brushes. They do look really pretty. They have like a little ball at the end, which is cute. They have the JS at the top, and they are definitely very pretty. I will say that they are pretty like lightweight. They feel like plastic, like they're not a you know, like super heavy, luxurious feeling brush. They do feel really, really soft, like they're gonna be really nice to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk you guys through this brush set. So it's called the Desired Beauty Collection. It is a 5-piece brush set, like I was saying. So there are 2 different eye brushes for this collection, and then there are 3 different face brushes. This one here is the first brush. This is described as a fluffy powder blush. I do wanna read you guys like what the description is of this brush. So it says it's a large dome-shaped brush to easily sweep on pressed or loose powder. Use after applying shadows to lightly sweep fallout off the cheeks. So they're saying that this can be used to wipe away fallout, which I've never actually heard that in a description of a brush. I feel like that's kind of like you can use any brush for that. But it is like a large face brush that you would use to kind of apply like your face powders. So the next one is the angled blush brush, and this one is going to be for applying blushes. It also says that it can be used for bronzer and for contouring, which I feel like it is a nice shape for that. So this is a nice little shaped brush. And then we have a foundation brush, which is just gonna be like a flat foundation brush. These aren't my favorite brushes to apply my foundation. I feel like the only foundation I do like applying these with is my ColourPop foundation. And I just like kind of brushing these on, like brushing the foundation on, blending it in a little bit, and then using my sponge to blend the rest. And then we have two different eye brushes. So this first one here is described as a blending shadow brush, which looks like it's just gonna be like a fluffy brush for your crease. And then we have this one here, which is described as an angled shader brush. I don't use angled brushes for eye looks very often. I feel like I always get annoyed when these come in brush sets because I feel like they're just not really something that I personally use. And I also don't really see a lot of other YouTubers or people using them in tutorials. So now that we've talked a bit about them, I do want to mention too that there is no like numbering or anything on them to know what they're for. Like you'll just have to read the description, which is why I wanted to go on the website to make sure that I had like an accurate description of each one of the brushes for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with trying them on the face. So I'm going to go ahead and use that ColourPop foundation just because that is what I would use this type of foundation brush for. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up, and I'm going to go ahead and start applying this on my face. And like I said, I typically will use a brush like this sometimes to apply foundation, but then I almost always blend it out still with a beauty sponge. I just find that when I do this, like the foundation can just kind of like sits on my face with this type of brush instead of like a beauty sponge. I feel like it kind of, you know, pushes it more into the skin because I feel like when I use a brush like this, it just sits right on my face. Also, I know that this shade is not a good match for me. Let's just throw that out there right now. It is doing an okay job of spreading this around. I mean, there's not really much to these sort of brushes. I feel like, I don't know, they're not really something that I feel like you can really mess up. I mean, it's a synthetic flat brush, so it is working okay. All right, so here is what it looks like all together. I did go ahead and apply my concealer. I didn't kind of buff it into the skin just so you guys can see like the finish of what this would look like if I didn't do that. Like I said, normally I would kind of buff this in with my beauty sponge, but I'm not gonna do that just so you guys can see the finish. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use this large powder brush to apply this CoverGirl powder. This is the Vitalist Healthy Powder. And I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this all over my face. All right, so now that we've got that all set, I'm gonna use this same powder brush for my bronzer. I'm just gonna go into the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula and see how this brush works to bronze, because I feel like it's an okay size brush to go ahead and bronze as well. I feel like this collection kind of reminds me of the Wet n Wild brushes. Like I feel like they feel very similar to those, and also like the mirrored look to it reminds me of those a lot. I think that brush set is like $30, and I think you get like 10 or 15 brushes, 16 brushes, something like that. I do like that they have the little grip here because I feel like sometimes I like that when I'm applying like bronzer and stuff because I feel like it just gives you like a nice spot to kind of hold on to if you don't want to hold on to like the end of the brush. It just depends on like how much pressure you want to apply, but I do like the option that it has like the little grip right there. All right, so next I'm going to pick up the blush brush, and I'm going to go ahead and go into the Rocketeer brush from Benefit, and I'm just going to apply this to my cheeks. This worked pretty nicely and it applied it pretty good. It looks pretty nice. All right, and now we're gonna move on to the eye brushes. I'm just gonna be using the Latte palette from Kristen Dominique. I'm gonna go into the shade Caramel with this brush here, and I'm going to tap it off because this is a super dense brush, so I'm worried that it's not, yeah, just like I thought. It's not like really one of those fluffy brushes that you're gonna use for applying like a crease color necessarily. I mean, it's working for that, but I definitely prefer something more fluffy. This would be a brush I would use if I'm going to just like pack something on the outer corner, just because it is so dense that I feel like it's kind of scratchy on the eyes. And I feel like it just isn't my ideal blending brush. I'm gonna try and use like this angled one now. So I think for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and go into Hazelnut, which is this first shade right here. And I'm just gonna use the angled brush. Like I said, I don't typically use these. So I'm gonna just try to use this as like a crease brush, just to apply like my second color. But I find these brushes, like the angled brushes like this, pretty useless, like I said, in a collection. At least I don't reach for them. I just find them hard to work with and kind of awkward. So I'm gonna go on back in with that first brush to help blend that shade out. Worked pretty well for like stamping. This first brush did here for like packing on the color. I just kind of like stamp it on the eye. I feel like it worked pretty well at that. I feel like the blending job on this eyeshadow look isn't the best, but I feel like it's kind of hard with a brush that is so stiff to get like a really, really nice blend. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a shimmer to my lid. I'm just gonna go into Mojito, this one right here, and I'm just gonna apply that on my finger and put that all over the lid. I'm just going back in with that brush just to blend that out a little further. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just apply some mascara. I'm gonna use this one from Wonder Beauty. This is the Volume and Curl Mascara. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop on a lip as well. And then I'll be right back to tell you guys my final thoughts. And here is our finished makeup look using the new brushes from Jessica Simson. On my lips, I did apply Aloha, one of the new Balm Jour lip stains. If you guys do want to see a review on the lip stains, I will link it up in the card. So let's get into my final thoughts on the brush set. All right, so getting into my final thoughts on the brush collection, a few brushes that I did enjoy. I did end up liking the blush brush. I feel like it worked really well for applying like contour, and it worked okay for the blushes. And then I did like the face brush actually to use for bronzer, not really for setting the face, and obviously not really for wiping out fallout. But I did enjoy this one for applying the bronzer. So both of these work okay as bronzers, and I feel like both of them would work well for blush as well. The brushes I didn't really care for as much were the face brush for the foundation. I feel like this is just any other brush, a flat foundation brush, nothing special. And then the eye brushes I actually didn't like at all. I feel like they were pretty scratchy on the eyes. They're super stiff and make it really hard to kind of blend out your eyeshadow. And of course the angled brush, I feel like I just don't get the point of that eye brush. Would I recommend you guys pick this set up? Probably not. Do I think it's worth the $60? Probably not. I think a lot of times when it comes to, you know, celebrities and stuff, I feel like they can sometimes put out really amazing stuff, and then sometimes I feel like they put out some stuff that isn't so great, and I feel like they charge really high prices just for like their name. And this is definitely something that I think is one of those things which is, it kind of bums me out. Like I really wanted to like these, but I definitely can't recommend them to you guys for $60. These remind me of like a Wet n Wild set. I feel like you can get much better brush sets from Morphe or Sigma or even Amazon, to be honest. All right, that is going to do it for today's review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Give this one a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel before you guys go, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Bye, friends.